So today we're going to talk about a new functionality under the subassets menu. This is where you see the subassets menu, and you would see something called as capping of returns. Now, typically what happens is when you are planning for your financial freedom, or when you're replanning or rebaselining your plan, in such cases you need to make sure that you're not getting over optimistic on the ROI part. So it is very important to cap the ROI to certain level, and before you really proceed for calculating your financial freedom year or calculating your baseline. Right, so in such situations, we have this new feature called as capping. And now, what happens is, for example, you see as a sample, you see four subassets here, and some having different ROIs. I would like to cap the ROI to not more than 15%, okay? So that I can use that as a as an assumption later on for baselining my plan, rather than going with a more optimistic assumption of more than 15%, let's say 20, 25, etc. When markets are volatile, it is possible that people take higher ROIs for baselining, which is not really recommended. So if I have to cap my returns to 15% for all the subassets, you will see that only one subasset has a higher ROI than 15%. So only this one will be capped. So any subasset which is higher than the ROI that you mentioned here will be capped to the value that you mentioned here. So I'm going to say cap to 15%. So that will cap all ROIs higher than 15% to a max of 15. So I set this value and click on go. So as I click on go, you will see that message called as ROIs for one subasset has been capped. And what you will also see is there is a cap icon along with this particular ROI, and it's now capped to 15%. Along with that, you will also see that there's another link available to you now, which says recover actual returns for one subasset. So your original return, what was mentioned here, has been saved and can be recovered to the actual value once your baselining has been done, or once your plan has been created, or rebaselining has been done. So you can use this particular link to revert back to your actual ROI, or you can cap it to a different ROI again. So once we do this capping, do our planning, etc., all that is done, then I'm going to go to this and say recover actual returns for one subasset. In this case, it could be more than one subasset in your case. So when I click on this, you will see the ROI has reverted back to the actual value, and the reverse option has now gone. And now if you want, you can cap it to a different value. So that's how capping works for each of the subassets. So this I am showing you as a example for one of the assets which has four subassets. You can do capping for different types of assets after consulting with your financial advisor on what is the right capping to be made, right assumptions to be made for your financial plan to be viable in the long run. Right. Thank you so much.